Your service, Mauser.
What is your greatest aspiration? The very thing that will keep you sleepless at night if you are to not attain it. Is it peace? Family? For many of us, it's our career. A flawless record, an untouched legacy that you yourself manifested. For some like Marty, it's to be a champion, to be beloved, near universal recognition for your talent. But the film Marty Supreme prompts its audience with a few questions. What are your aspirations worth to you? How far are you willing to go? The film explores a myriad of themes, such as sacrifice, but most of all seems to reflect upon the circumstances and challenges so many Americans have faced for decades. A country that some may argue has made avenues for individual prosperity more widely available, but has also simultaneously cultivated a culture of intense competition. Because for millions of people across the United States, a roof over their head is a luxury, grocery hauls are hardly affordable, and opportunities are scarce, all competing for the same finite slices of the pie available. It's a brutal cycle that some have yet to break in their lineage. In desperation for a better life, it's led many to sacrifice their morality, to withhold their values, cutting corners and making decisions that come at the consequence of others. But to them, it's a small price to pay for what has to be done. Because it's not just about making your dreams come true. This is survival. Marty comes face to face with this reality for the first time within just the first 10 minutes of the film. The largest, most prestigious ping pong tournament in the world is within his fingertips. We learn early on that he only took the position as a shoe salesman to fund this very dream. This is his true aspiration, the opportunity to be a champion, and he can taste it. But the rug is pulled from under him. The money he thought he was meant to receive from his uncle is no longer available to him. And you can see it on his face. The anger, the fear that, like so many around him, he will never be able to break the cycle. It's everything he's worked so very hard for. What would you do? How far are you willing to go? It's obvious that he's desperate. He feels his back against the wall. After sacrificing so much, he wasn't going to allow anything to prevent him from reaching his goal, even if it was due to a mere error. He was determined. But does this at all sound familiar to you? Minus the threat of violence, of course. It's as if we've heard this story before. Tales of sheer determination and will that paved the way to prosperity, to wealth, to glory. A mindset many Americans like Marty have had or likely possess now. Miraculously, his approach works, at least for the time being. All that matters is that he's made it. He's face to face with some of the best in his field, and he's excelling, so much so that his confidence grows and grows. It's all led to the final match, a worthy opponent, but one he will not shy away from. And then, he loses. But how? This wasn't supposed to happen. He was supposed to come home a champion, to be relieved of poverty, and to enter into a new life of prosperity. But like for Marty, sometimes working hard just isn't enough for many Americans. No matter the blood you bleed or the tears you shed, it won't always make you rich, at least not financially. Because Marty Supreme isn't just commentary on the hustle of an American, it's an exploration of class. How maybe the grass isn't always greener on the other side. We meet Kay Stone, a former celebrity actress whose best years may be behind her, but had undeniably reached substantial heights. As one character puts it,
well, she was big, she was huge.
On the surface, she's everything that many Americans like Marty would lose an arm and a leg for: financial stability, recognition for her talent, never needing to worry about the next paycheck. She's set for life. At least, that's how it appears. Because as the layers are peeled back, more and more is revealed. For all her notoriety and all her wealth, she's not happy. She's married to a callous man who, although seems to provide her a life of glamour, is not one that pleases her physically nor emotionally.
I mean, why did you even stop in the first place?
Wanted security, and I got pregnant. And he pressured me. I settled.
Is it wrong? Not necessarily. But to someone like Marty, it's nearly unfathomable. How could you accept a deal like that? Why even consider taking the safety net? Because in his mind, you make your way in this world. This is dog eat dog. When you've struck gold, you keep digging for more. The others at the top of the food chain didn't stop. Why should you? But this isn't abnormal. It's a worldview that many Americans like Marty possessed at the time, and even to this day, a result of a culture that cultivates competition. But as enlightened as Marty acts, he is just as painfully ignorant of how fulfillment and happiness can be found without stacks of cash or glory amongst his peers, even when it's standing right next to him. Wally, just like Marty, is an avid player of ping pong, and by the looks of it, is certainly no slouch. Wally seems to be good friends with Marty, even reaching out a helping hand after Marty evades the police and is looking for a place to stay. But Wally is no Kay Stone. He's not staying in a high-rise hotel room with a city view. He drives a cab, is a father, and is just looking to help his friend. Now Wally is no saint. He, alongside Marty, hustle a group at the bowling alley out of some major dollars. But when they're confronted soon after, it all unravels.
Oh, your dog! Dog, Wally! Fuck that dog! Eat the dog! Fuck the dog! No!
As they frantically drive away, the dog Marty took under his care for some extra cash runs off. His one ticket to the tournament in Japan running in the opposite direction, fading off in the distance. The realization of this opportunity slipping away is all that consumes Marty. Again, for him, it's all about doing whatever it takes. But for Wally, he melts down. Because to Wally, it's not only about the money or the glamour. It's about keeping his job, feeding his family. And for him, it's what needs his full attention, and he knows it. Does it make him unhappy? Maybe sometimes. But does it prevent him from finding joy? Maybe not. Wally, Marty, and each of us have been gifted life. Whether it be divine intervention or just merely coincidence, it doesn't negate its significance. The film reminds us that life isn't always so glamorous. It can be very, very difficult. But it reminds us that it's precious, that maybe, just maybe, it doesn't have to be consumed by an unrelenting feeling of resentment for our circumstances. We can make the most of it and live. Some do their best, but as we just said, life can be very challenging. Sometimes it feels as if we have no way out. As tumultuous as Marty's road to the tournament in Japan may be, it arguably struggles to hold a candle to the demand of Rachel's life day to day. Rachel is a young woman who is far along in pregnancy. It's implied and then brutally shown that her husband is both physically and mentally abusive. There's very little going for her. Some may look at her situation and say, she did this to herself. She shouldn't have cheated. Why doesn't she just walk away? Even so, if she were to walk out the door and never come back, where can she go? She has no money, no form of transportation, and not to mention is 8 months pregnant. She turns to the only person she can, Marty, showing up with a black eye, distressed and desperate for help. He willingly steps in to support her the best he can, but as we soon come to find out, her eye was just fine. It was a lie. The serial liar and con, Marty, had been duped, because just like Marty, Rachel lied, compromising her morality for a better life, something that many Americans like her are led to do. They see no way out of their circumstances. No matter how hard they try, they cannot break free. They feel as if they have no choice. But unlike Rachel, Marty had a choice. If we wind back to the first sequence, we learn that Marty is promoted to be a manager. He had been making money as a salesman, albeit not a lot, but received a bump up that I'm sure many in his position would do anything for. He could have continued working, training in his sport after hours, and making the money needed to support his lifestyle and his aspirations. But he worked so very hard for this tournament, this future he wanted to build. It just didn't seem possible. He thought, how could this be fair? His patience had been tested long enough. He was not going to miss this. Out of desperation, he makes a choice that subsequently leads to a chaotic spiral throughout the rest of the film. Yet again, I ask you, if you were Marty, what would you do? What are your aspirations worth to you? How far are you willing to go? In a culture that breeds competition and heavily accentuates the grind set, Americans know this all too well. Tireless efforts put forth towards your work, your schooling, and discovering ways in which you can separate yourself from the rest and reach the heights you've been told to aspire for. This is not inherently a bad thing. It gives many people a sense of purpose. It keeps many driven and along the straight and narrow. But as Marty Supreme depicts, there is such thing as going too far, that the fruits of strenuous labor may not always be so enchanting, and at times, many Americans have little to no choice. These phenomena have yet to be resolved. Who knows if a resolution is even possible? This is what makes a film like Marty Supreme so important. Through all its humor, drama, and filmmaking, it's a reflection of the America we've witnessed for years. The land of the free, the home of the brave, yet an imperfect nation with realities that can be hard to face.